I wanted to start out by welcoming our friends from the American Civil Liberties Union. Usually I promote Beyond Baroque by offering our premiums, but today I'm going to offer their premium, which is a tremendously terrific documentary about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So they are going to give this to you if you become a member today, if you are not already a member. So if your membership has lapsed, renew it today. If you're not a member, now more than ever, the ACLU needs members and contributions because they have a lot of work to do these days, as I'm sure you're all aware. I mean, that's why we're here. And the ACLU is critical to the resistance. It's critical on all levels, and it is an organization that has a distinguished history. It goes back to defending the rights of all sorts of people, especially in its early days. It defended the rights of immigrants who were considered politically suspect, just for having views that were unorthodox. So that's just one of the things that the ACLU does, and of course it's expanded its efforts on behalf of all kinds of minorities, and it is the prime defender of civil liberties in the United States of America. So it does need your support, and well, they're going to say a little bit more about what they do later, but I wanted to throw in my own particular view of the ACLU. I've been a member since, I think 74, something like that.
I'd love to say I was the host, but I'm welcoming you all on behalf of our co-hosts, Jim Natalie, David St. John, and Emily Vizio, who can't be with us today. This is our third installment of Writers Resist. Hopefully next year it will be Writers Celebrate, when some things have changed in that other side of the country. I want to welcome you here in the name of the teachers of Los Angeles, who will be walking out tomorrow to fight for support for our kids. The most important thing anybody does is educate our children. I want to welcome you in the name of all of those who are working on behalf of immigrants, of which I'm proud to say my parents were too, to resist the horror that's being created by Washington. And because our resistance isn't only local, I want to welcome you on behalf of everyone, the press in particular, who is working so hard to bring us the news despite every effort not to have us hear the news, and to demonstrate, like we will demonstrate this afternoon, that language has meaning and we are all witnesses. So I have blathered on longer than I told Jim I would blather on. So to explain the support for this reading, I'm so pleased to introduce my friend, he who doesn't need to be named, David St. John.
So once again, thank you all for being here, both the readers, the writers, the audience. As you know, 2 years ago, when we had the first Writers Resist event here at Beyond Baroque, it was before the inauguration, and we had even then a sense of the horrors ahead. But none of us could have anticipated what these last 2 years have been like. Everything we believe in, every humane principle, every ethical choice, every environmental choice has been either repealed or undermined or ignored. But as writers, what we stand for and stand together about is what language can do, what words can do, and what stories can do. We all tell our own stories and the stories of others. It's not enough to tell of our own experiences. We need to tell the stories of those who are not us, of those who are other than us. Nothing creates empathy as quickly and immediately and powerfully as language, as poetry, as essays, as fiction. It is what we do. It is why we're here. The attacks of the last 2 years have been, above all, attacks on language and the relevance of language, the importance of language, and the agency of language. So we're here because we stand together that we won't let that happen. And so today's event, today's reading, is to remind ourselves that we still have so much work to do. From the very beginning, there are two organizations, PEN America and the ACLU, who have been here to be part of this. Is Natalie here? Where's Natalie Green? Natalie. This is Natalie Green from PEN America.
Sometimes, as much as I don't like to admit it, I'm tired. Isn't it hard sometimes to be a writer and think about all of the things you need to think about? From climate change to government shutdowns to teacher strikes, and then also have a job. Normally a full-time job, or really a second or a third full-time job. On top of being a writer and a thinker, you are a teacher, or a parent, or a partner, or a programs manager at a literary arts nonprofit and human rights organization. Or sometimes all of the above. But when I receive an email from Jim, in concert with co-organizers Lynne, David, and Emily, ACLU, and Beyond Baroque, about the third consecutive year we'll join together in resistance alongside of LA's very best and thought-provoking writers, it doesn't matter if I'm tired or if we're all tired, because the answer is yes. The answer will always be yes. 2018 for PEN America was busy. Our New York and LA offices unified to better defend free expression nationally and worldwide. We amplified diverse voices through our Literary Arts Programming, Emerging Voices Fellowship, and new Writing for Justice Fellowship. We launched our first writing workshop at a prison, released reports and administered training sessions on defending against online harassment, and filed a lawsuit against President Trump for his threats against free press. In 2019, there will be all this and more. If you're not already, please consider signing up for a PEN America membership today. The woman who is all things wonderful, Stacey Vallis, is here with me to assist in collecting your hard-earned cash. If a membership isn't possible, sign up for our newsletter or chat with me about what work you'd like to see PEN America do here in LA. And most of all, thank you for helping me feel not so tired, for reminding me through your words and actions that together we can get up each day and resist.
And now from the ACLU, it's my great pleasure to introduce Spencer Wines.
I'm really glad that Natalie mentioned being tired, because I'm tired, and I think we all are tired. It seems like our 2-year national crisis just keeps going on and just keeps getting worse. But I want to talk a little bit about hope. There's a program called the Temporary Protective Status. What this program does is when refugees come to this country from countries that are in crisis, it allows them to stay here. So we have refugees from places like Haiti, El Salvador, Sudan, who are here in this country. Some of them have been here for years, decades. There are over 300,000 people protected under about 5 different countries. And their status is reviewed every few years by the State Department. They look at it and they say, is this country still in crisis? If so, these folks should remain. And this has been going on for a long time. Well, Donald Trump heard about this, and he wasn't happy. In fact, he had a meeting in the Oval Office where he ranted and raved about these being shithole countries, and how he wanted instead for us to get refugees from Norway. I don't believe that he meant the Muslims who live in Norway, but I think we understand what he meant. So the State Department did its job. All the professionals, they looked at these countries and they said, no, they're still in crisis. We should continue this. But then his appointees in the State Department rewrote the conclusions. And as one professional in the State Department said, it's like they were 2 different papers. Here's outlining everything that's going on in these countries and why they aren't safe. Here's the conclusion that we should end TPS and deport these people. We're talking about over 300,000 of our neighbors who collectively have over 200,000 American-born US citizen children. And the Trump administration was going to kick them all out of the country. Well, I have a coworker named Ahilan. He's a very nice guy. He's very humble, very quiet, which is unusual because he's an attorney. He's actually our legal director. So he went into court back in the end of November, and he presented a really novel legal argument. It is illegal in America to base policy based on being a racist, being a bigot. And he argued that this policy was being changed, these people were going to be deported because the President of the United States and his appointees were racist. And to make this argument, he used their own words. And he showed to the judge exactly what was motivating them. And it was not a sincere belief that conditions were better in Haiti. It was simply that they wanted people of color out of this country. The judge agreed. And the judge issued a ruling stopping the deportation of more than 300,000 people. I saw Elon in the kitchen at the office a couple days later, and I said to him, Elon, congratulations. And he's like, oh, yeah, And I said, you materially affected 500,000 lives of our neighbors and people in our country. And he's a humble guy, and he actually blushed. I've never seen a lawyer blush. I am in awe of the people I work with. I'm not an attorney. I just raise money for the ACLU. But the things that they do and the cases that we've won, the system is holding. Yes, it's under stress. But we have won ruling after ruling where we have been able to prove what the administration has tried to do is illegal and unconstitutional. Over and over, we've done it. I put together this little pamphlet recently, and this is just some of the cases we've won against the Trump administration from the LA office alone. We have filed over 200 lawsuits against the Trump administration. We have stopped most of their worst intentions. We've done that because the law is on our side and the people are on our side. And we do it because people like you support us. We need that support. The level of work has not decreased, it has increased. As the administration's appointees have gotten dug into the various agencies, they figured out new and inventive ways to screw people of color and immigrants and gay people and minorities and people expressing their free speech. They've found new ways to do it. And so we have to get more creative. And our work rate has not gone down, although right now it is very nice. We have several cases that aren't being heard because the courts aren't open. So we'll take that. But, honestly, it's just getting worse. But we can't lose hope because when my coworker goes in there and spends a day in court and stops the deportation of 500,000 people in this country, we can win. And we can win again and again and again. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for making it possible. This is our 99th year at the ACLU, and it happens because of you. Thank you.